It's Kidney Awareness Month. Doctors Hospital is here to help bridge the knowledge gap to better kidney care. Today, we're going to be talking about kidney disease, who is at risk, and the associated medical costs that many of us can avoid. You're watching You and Your Money.
You and Your Money is brought to you by Doctors Hospital Health System.
Welcome to the show. My guest co-host for today is Alexis Burrows, Marketing Director of Doctors Hospital. Welcome back to the show, Alexis.
I'm happy to be here, Javon, and happy for you guys to have me on again. As you mentioned, today we're talking about Kidney Awareness Month. The physician that we have on to talk today has actually been all over the place the last few weeks talking about kidney awareness and trying to bridge the education gap. So I want to welcome to the show today Dr. Frederick Smith, who is a consultant internist, nephrologist, and the clinical director of renal replacement at Doctors Hospital. Welcome to the show, Dr. Smith.
Thank you very much for having me.
So, Dr. Smith, obviously you've been talking about kidney health a lot these past few weeks. Why is kidney health so important? Why is it something that we ought to know about?
Kidney health is very important, and we need to know about it because the kidney is one of the fundamental organs in the body. Kidneys are responsible for both filtering electrolytes and minerals and also excretion, which is getting rid of waste products. So in order for us to know how to get these things done properly or what goes into getting it done, I think we need to know a little bit more about our kidneys.
Okay, and Dr. Smith, what are some of the risk factors for kidney disease?
Well, if we take that same question, and I think it's going to go back to, as you said, I've been all over the airways recently and share those same things because they say education comes with repetition. Yeah. We want to talk about the things that are genetic versus the things that are non-genetic, nature versus nurture. And so we want to talk about gender. We'd like to talk about ethnicity in terms of some of the very genetic components of it. And then we want to talk about nurture. We want to talk about our lifestyle, so obesity, other things in lifestyle, whether we smoke, whether we drink. We want to then talk about some other diseases that we can do something about, like hypertension, diabetes, and the control of the same.
Okay, so is early detection possible? And if so, what are some of the warning signs one should be aware of?
So early detection, absolutely. And then I'm going to put a plug in for prime care to Doctors Health in our Doctors Hospital Health System. Early detection is the way to go. The earlier that we get something, the more we're able to either treat, help with a plateau, or help to reverse what we can reverse. And how is that possible? They say the whole adage, I've said this numerous times for the week, pain is a sign that something's wrong. Well, protein in your urine is a sign that something is wrong. So early detection, go and see your primary care physician, whoever your physician is, and along with your other vitals, add that urinalysis to see if there's anything going on with that urinalysis.
Okay. And specifically for males, do you find that males are willing to come in to find out if they're having kidney issues? And for those who may be experiencing issues but are too macho to come in, what would you suggest to them?
I can go back and say this, Alexis, when last have you been to see the doctor? See, he didn't go. No, we don't do that very often. And in fact, we find that females come in more frequently than males, if you ask. And I can say that from my practice, until there is something wrong. And then when there is something wrong, then I find that the males are very aggressive in trying to figure out what it is and how to fix it. But there is the plea, there is the cry. We need to go and get our yearly physicals as well.
Okay. We
need to figure out how to get into that rhythm, as I think Dr. D said, the rhythm of testing. Yeah. We need to get into that rhythm of our visits so that we do our prime care.
Okay. Well, Dr. Smith, we want to thank you for joining us on the show. Definitely, we encourage all individuals to go if they feel like they're experiencing some types of symptoms to go and get tested. And the annual physical is vitally important. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you much.
We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll dive into kidney disease prevention and management. This is You and Your Money. We'll be right back.
Doctors Hospital's pharmacy introduces a new spin on prescriptions called Pick Up Now, Pay Later. That's right, you can collect your medications first and pay after. How does it work? Step 1, submit a prescription online. Step 2, select the pickup site. Step 3, collect your medication. And Step 4, pay online within 14 days. For more info, call us at 242-302-4785 or visit us at doctorshosp.com.
Doctors Hospital is proud to announce the launch of our infusion center. This center is available for patients in need of IV hydration and nutrition therapy, blood products, long-term antibiotics, and specialized medicines for a spectrum of diseases including rheumatology, dermatology, gastroenterology, and endocrinology. We provide quality, highly specialized care, seamless medication approval through our pharmacy and registration services, a safe and comfortable environment, cost-saving benefits with copay waived on medications for insured LAMP members, payment plans for the uninsured, and immediate access to emergency services. We're located at the Luton Building on Daswell Street. For more information, contact us at 242-302-3323 or email us at infusioncenter@doctorshosp.com.
Welcome back to You and Your Money. Doctors Hospital is here for Kidney Awareness Month. Alexis Burrows, our guest co-host, and Dr. Frederick Smith are still with us. Joining us is certified nutrition specialist Yvette Andrew Strawn. Yvette, welcome to You and Your Money.
Good morning. Thank you, Javon. Glad to be here.
Happy to have you. So Yvette, we know that eating healthy is a big part of staying healthy. What are some of the foods that we can eat to improve kidney health, and which foods should we be avoiding?
Well, with kidney disease or chronic kidney disease, it is imperative to follow, definitely, like you said, a diet and nutrition plan that is healthy.
Okay.
What we do is we monitor your protein, calcium, phosphorus, as well as potassium, sodium, and fluids to ensure that you maintain your current kidney health or also slow the progression of the disease. So some foods can be limiting, as well as some may be additives that are important to have in your diet. And so one of the key things that we're trying to do is ensure that our goal is to have an overall variety of foods, but to use evidence-based guidelines for modifying kidney disease, as well as provide restricting nutrients, but not too much calories and proteins. So one of the first thing is protein. Proteins we need to definitely balance. Depending on the stage of your kidney disease, you may have about 0.5 to about 0.8 grams of protein required per day. Or if you're on dialysis, sometimes those needs go up. And as you know, as Bahamians, we definitely consume a lot of protein.
Yeah.
For like meat, and really it should be the palm of our hand or the size of a deck of cards, which is about 3 ounces of meat.
Okay.
So limiting our protein is one of the key ingredients for maintaining kidney health, okay? The second component we looked at is potassium. Everybody knows that. Where's potassium found? In bananas, correct?
Yes.
And
correct.
so when we meet with patients as licensed nutritionists at the Doctors Hospital Health System, we ensure that their potassium is in balance. So certain foods such as apples and berries are good choices. Cranberry juice, carrots, green beans are good choices. But yet certain foods which we call poor choices like bananas and tomatoes are not really, should not be part of their diet. So we look at balancing those intake. The other resource or the other mineral that we're dealing with is phosphorus. Have you heard the word phosphorus before?
Yes. Yes.
So phosphorus is found in a lot of dairy products, some meats, as well as fruits and vegetables. So some good choices of phosphorus also need to be balanced in your diet because we don't want too much of this mineral to also cause further damage to your kidneys. Poor choices, of course, are some dairy foods, because phosphorus is found in a lot of milk products. And so we have to balance the phosphorus as well. And the ultimate one we know is sodium.
Yeah.
Salt.
Yeah.
You know, we season with complete seasoning. We season with anything that is out there in the cupboard. I think sometimes when I go to some person's kitchen, they have about 10 seasonings, and all of them are filled with sodium chloride or salt. So there's some healthier tips for chronic kidney disease patients to use alternatives such as herbs, garlic. You have thyme and some healthy savings as you can grow these herbs as well.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that, Yvette, because the question that arises, you're encouraging me to eat healthy, but we have seen the continuous increase of food, specifically due to the supply chain shortage and now everything that's going on around the world. So how do I have a healthy diet on a budget?
On a budget, boy. But we get to talk to these food vendors first of all. But one of the things, definitely, like I said, is to try to grow some of your own herbs and shop locally. There's a lot of farmers market on Gladstone Road, on Cowpen Road, and where you can bargain with a lot of the agents, as well as seafood. You got Montague, you have under Potterski Dock, and you have various seafood vendors that you can buy your snappers and grouper and lower cholesterol seafood to incorporate into your diet. But if it's protein, don't forget, as kidney disease, you still have to watch the amount of protein that these patients are taking in.
Okay, thanks, Yvette.
All right, so Dr. Smith, I want you to jump in here. Other than nutrition management, what are some ways that a person can reduce their risk of kidney disease? And what are some ways that they can manage it?
So I'm going to suggest, outside of the things that we spoke about before for nutrition, again, reiterating the lowering of the salt, the other things in lifestyle change that we can do is we can increase our exercise regime, which has an additive benefit. 2, we can monitor or decrease the amount that we use alcohol, because we know that alcohol, whether it's small amounts or chronic alcohol use, does cause an increase in kidney injury. 3, we can stop smoking, because we do know that smoking does have an independent factor in terms of damaging blood vessels, causing fibrosis of the blood vessels, and hence causing increased hypertension as well as kidney disease. And 4th, I'm going to say in there, we should limit the amount of NSAIDs or non-steroidal anti-inflammatory agents, commonly known as painkillers, as they can also cause kidney injury. The last thing that I have to do is I'll talk about our herbal things. So, Yvette, I know that you put in the plug there for the herbs in the garden and that sort of thing, but I think that we also need to be careful that there's a thing called herbal nephropathy, and that's with us boiling our teas. We have to be careful how we don't drink too many of those, because we don't know what some of those additives do.
Okay. All right. And Dr. Smith, can you also talk to us a little bit about the financial aspect of a chronic kidney disease diagnosis? What does that look like for patients?
So financially, kidney disease is horrifically expensive. However, and I'm saying that because of what the treatment regimes would be. So if we talk about hemodialysis, because if we talk about treatment of kidney disease, we're talking about dialysis versus transplant. And if we talk about hemodialysis, I think that we're spending upwards of $500 per treatment, and that's 3 times a week. If we're talking about peritoneal dialysis, I can't give you the costing for the actual costing of our solutions, but we know that patients are paying up to $300 or thereabout in the public sector for their fluids per month. And then if we're talking about transplant, I hope you have a good insurance, because the cost has been anywhere from $100,000 to $400,000 per year, depending if you've had any interval issues during it, i.e. you've had a rejection, whether it's acute or chronic rejection, you've had viral infections, depending on how intensive your surgery was. It does become quite costly for not just an individual, but for a nation. You're taking a person out of the workforce for 12 hours per day. If they have a transplant, they may be out for a few months. It's quite expensive.
Okay. Well, Dr. Smith and Yvette, I want to thank you very much for joining us. Alexis, who do we have up next?
So up next, you'll hear directly from a kidney patient, a dialysis patient, on how kidney disease affects her life, including her finances. And Javon and I will be speaking with the Bahamas Kidney Association.
You're watching You and Your Money. We'll be right back.
Doctors Hospital is proud to announce the launch of our infusion center. This center is available for patients in need of IV hydration and nutrition therapy, blood products, long-term antibiotics, and specialized medicines for a spectrum of diseases including rheumatology, dermatology, gastroenterology, and endocrinology. We provide quality, highly specialized care, seamless medication approval through our pharmacy and registration services, a safe and comfortable environment, cost-saving benefits with copay waived on medications for insured LAMP members, payment plans for the uninsured, and immediate access to emergency services. We're located at the Luton Building on Daswell Street. For more information, contact us at 242-302-3323 or email us at infusioncenter@doctorshosp.com.
Doctors Hospital's Pharmacy introduces a new spin on prescriptions called Pick Up Now, Pay Later. That's right, you can collect your medications first and pay after. How does it work? Step 1, submit a prescription online. Step 2, select the pickup site. Step 3, collect your medication. And Step 4, pay online within 14 days. For more info, call us at 242-302-4785 or visit us at doctorshosp.com.
My name is Ernesta Carey. I am a diabetic dialysis patient. I've been on dialysis now for 6 years, and this is my 6th year on the journey. My journey started as a diabetic. Kidney disease is actually a disease that stems from diabetes as well as hypertension, and I have both. So I'm type 1 diabetic, and I was pushed very fast, actually, into this world called end-stage renal disease after being for a short period a chronic kidney disease patient. And this life has challenges. Having end-stage renal disease and being on dialysis is not an easy road. There are challenges that you face. I like to say that it is the gift that keeps on giving. And a lot of the gifts that it gives, you do not want and you'd like to return. For a dialysis patient, personal finances is something that is definitely affected. Persons may have had insurance. Myself, I do not have health insurance, and I am not able or eligible to receive health insurance. So that leaves me to everything being out of pocket. Having kidney disease is not cheap. It hits you and hits your wallet from every side. You will be pouring money into having the disease. You don't want to do that. If you can avoid having to go on dialysis or even becoming a patient with chronic kidney disease, if you could avoid that, it would be better for you health-wise, but also financially. It's not an easy journey. And honestly, it's not for everyone. Keep your kidneys healthy. If you can not join this journey, I'd appreciate it. I'm sure that your kidneys would appreciate if you were to love on them and treat them better and eat healthy and get your water in and exercise and maybe cut out the bamboo and the KFC and the fast food all the time. Maybe have a salad instead of fries, make little changes in your life to avoid chronic kidney disease and ultimately end-stage renal failure. Do that for you.
Welcome back to You and Your Money. Nearly 4 years ago, Tamika Roberts donated her kidney to her brother, who was diagnosed with renal failure at Doctors Hospital. Today, she's here to talk about the Bahamas Kidney Association, the nonprofit organization of which she is the president. Welcome to the show, Tamika.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, first and foremost, a very honorable thing you did for your brother. A lot of people would not have made that sacrifice, so definitely we commend you for that.
Thank you so much.
Why was it important for you to go beyond just helping your brother, to helping the entire Bahamas community by establishing the Bahamas Kidney Association?
Well, when I came back home after having the procedure, definitely I did not expect what happened. While we were actually still at Cleveland Clinic during the process, our story was actually aired or spoken about at a church service. And from there, the media got a hold of it. I guess somebody in the audience was from the media, and they had reached out to my brother and I. And so we started to tell our story. And once we told our story, we had a lot of other persons locally reaching out, wanting to find out more information. How did we do it? How was the experience? A lot of information pertaining to the transplant, do's and don'ts. And so it became a little overwhelming. And so we then took it upon ourselves to try and direct them to an organization, thinking that there was one where they could get the support and assistance they needed. And so after that, we found out that there wasn't an active organization. And I spoke to the first president, who was Dr. Ada Thompson at the time, and she'd asked me actually to take it on, which I did. And so that leads me here as the president of the Bahamas Kidney Association.
Okay. And part of the association's mission is to improve the lives of people living with kidney disease. Give us your perspective on the challenges patients face, particularly as it relates to the financial burdens of the disease.
As Dr. Smith would have said, there are so many financial challenges for a kidney patient. The expense is great on both sides in terms of the facility providing the treatment and also for the patient themselves. A lot of patients, they would lose income, and so a lot of them can't work. And so that becomes an expense for their daily living expenses. In addition to that, a lot of them don't have medical insurance, so they can't afford medication. As Dr. Smith would have explained, a lot of nutrients leave the body when the patients are on dialysis. And so the basic medication to put nutrients back into the system, they can't even afford those things. So there are some of the expenses associated. And the transplantation, that's another level of expense. Of course, you've heard what he said in terms of 100 to 400,000. So the expense is great.
So, Tamika, what are some of the things that you're doing currently to provide support for people with kidney disease? And what are some of your long-term objectives at the Kidney Association?
Well, presently, what we wanted to achieve this month was to bring a lot of the dialysis patients to the forefront. We wanted the public to understand and to see that there is a need to understand some of the challenges that they actually go through. So that was one of the things we wanted to do during Kidney Month. Additionally, what we're hosting a lot of educational sessions, a lot of webinars, so that patients too can have the professionals at hand and ask the questions that they need. We have a support group session that's coming out on the weekend as well. So we're providing support for people to talk about this. So family members may have questions, wanting to know how best they can support. So we also have that aspect. We have a lunch and learn segment coming up that we're working with a pharmacist actually, who is going to speak about the medication that is important for patients to have, because this is one of the areas this is the main area that we will be assisting this year, giving back patients, assisting them with their medication. So there are some of the things that we're actually doing for kidney patients this month in terms of assisting them.
Right. I mean, given the nature of the organization that you're running, I imagine it's something where you need a lot of support from the general public. So how can viewers support the Bahamas Kidney Association, and what's needed right now?
Right now, what we need is funding, to be quite honest. You've heard some of the numbers that Dr. Smith said. It's a very costly disease, and so we really need funding. Like I said, we're going to assist with the medication. We also have a blanket and socks drive. It's very cold in the dialysis center, so we're giving those on. But one of the main ways that the public can assist is definitely through funding. We definitely need more funding.
And Tamika, how do I make a donation or contribution to the Kidney Association?
Well, we have a bank account at First Caribbean JFK branch. All of our information is definitely on our website. I can give you the bank account number if you'd like. So it's Bahamas Kidney Association, First Caribbean. The bank account number is 2017474463. So that's 2017474463.
Okay. And if I, as a private citizen, want to become involved with volunteering with the Bahamas Kidney Association, how do I get in contact with you?
Well, you can email us at info@bahamaskidneyassociation.org, or you can call us at 242-436-1317. That's 242-436-1317.
Tamika,
Sounds
thank
good.
you very much for joining us. And we do hope that those viewing will definitely contribute and help out the Kidney Association. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
This is You and Your Money. We'll be right back.
Doctors Hospital's Pharmacy introduces a new spin on prescriptions called Pick Up Now, Pay Later. That's right, you can collect your medications first and pay after. How does it work? Step 1, submit a prescription online. Step 2, select the pickup site. Step 3, collect your medication. And Step 4, pay online within 14 days. For more info, call us at 242-302-4785 or visit us at doctorshosp.com.
Welcome back to You and Your Money. Alexis, thank you for joining us today. I understand that Doctors Hospital has been very busy. I think you recently had a mini health fair that offered free blood pressure testing and glucose checks. Tell us some of the things that have been going on, the health fair and other initiatives at Doctors Hospital.
Right. So this past Saturday, we had a health fair at the mall where we had our blood bank team out doing a blood drive. We had our LAMP team out doing sign up for LAMP membership, and we had some of our nursing staff out taking blood pressure and glucose checks, which are critically important even in our conversation about kidney disease, because hypertension and diabetes are two of the leading risk factors for developing kidney disease. So getting your pressure checked and getting your glucose checked is very critical to knowing where you stand in those two categories in order to help know where you stand in terms of being at risk for kidney disease. So that's critically important to everything that we've been doing this past month around education in the kidney awareness space.
Okay. And for those individuals who want to reach out to Doctors Hospital to find out more about kidney disease, kidney awareness, and any other medical concerns that they may have, what's the contact information?
Right.
How do they get in contact with Doctors Hospital Health Services?
Right. So if you're interested in actually booking a visit with Dr. Smith or anybody in our specialty care system, you can call 302-3250. That's our specialist clinic at Centerville Medical Center. If you just want general information, you can visit our website, www.doctorshosp.com. And you can check us out on social media. One of the things I'd like to plug is, we've been heavy in this education space, especially this month, but we've started back up the Doctors Hospital podcast, which is available on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and basically anywhere else that you can get podcasts from. So if you're interested in this kind of educational information, be sure to check us out in those spaces as well.
All right. Mr. Burrows, thank you once again for co-hosting. You're becoming a veteran at this. We'll do this again next month.
Thank you.
This is You and Your Money. Thank you for joining us. God bless.